Welcome to my Gene Key Contemplation video on Gene Key 19. Thank you for being here, and for anybody who is new to the Gene Keys, every 6 days we transit through a new key, of which there are 64. These are archetypes that we literally hold in our DNA, and they're expressed in 3 layers, 3 different vibrational frequencies. The shadow level, which is the archetype that keeps us feeling stuck and victims. The gift level, which is a pathway, it's a transformation, it's a creative expression, it's a higher level frequency where we get out of our victimhood. And the siddhi, a Sanskrit word for the highest expression of the archetype of the gene key, is like a superpower. It's a transcendent worldview where there is no right or wrong, and unity consciousness is experienced. And since the spring, I've been sharing my contemplation on the key that we're in. And as I said, every 6 days we're transiting, spinning on this earth through the solar system, and the sun amplifies this energy in the collective, whether or not you have this gene key in your specific profile. And again, if you're new, you can get your profile for free on the Gene Keys website, entering your birthday and time and location, and you can discover your specific archetypes and how they play out in your life purpose, in what you're here to learn, and what keeps you healthy, in what your branding is about even. And I cannot recommend this system enough. It has been truly life-changing for me. And this Gene Key 19, we're going to dive into the shadow is codependence. The gift is sensitivity, and the siddhi is sacrifice. And before we dive into these specific themes, this video is going to have a different flavor because I've never been called to action more than this day even, but my dreams, what I've been led to this week, has really brought a call to action that I've been sensing for years actually, and just not pulled the trigger on. And so I'm going to share what this call to action is for myself, and alongside diving into these specific themes. So in the book, the Gene Keys book, he opens up by saying that this key is one of the most, this shadow specifically of codependence is sort of one of the biggest highlights of the archetypes of our current reality. And along with Gene Key 49, which happens to be my purpose, and Gene Key 55, which happens to be my partner's life work. So together, those create a codon ring. It's called a codon ring of the whirlwind. And since we've met, our life has been nothing but a whirlwind. And before I met my partner, I had been on a journey of documenting evolution because I could sense there was a big paradigm shift happening. And this is over a decade ago. And my partner, before he met me, also sensed something big was happening. And when we met, we started working together right away on something called Flow Network. And he's been creating these models, and together they just it was a language that we used together, and codependence was one of the words that we used. And this gene key is also called the future human. And Richard Rudd speaks about this future human a lot. And this future human is one that exists outside of codependence. All of our systems on this planet have been created in a codependent way. The religious systems, the financial system, everything, our healthcare systems. And codependence is basically giving your power away to an outside authority and forgetting that you have the power within you. So diving into the codependence of the shadow a little bit. Every single one of us has been brought up in codependent systems, and this plays out in our family dynamics. It plays out in, as I mentioned, the government, the economy, the educational system, all of it. And we can see that these systems are beginning to crumble. And if we're not seeing them crumble, we're stuck in the shadow, which is all about division. This person's right, that person's wrong. In the modeling that we used is very similar, and it's expressed exactly in this gene key, that to get out of codependence, you have to go into independence. You have to stand on your own 2 feet first and understand who you are and learn all the ways that you've been giving your power away and taking on roles or beliefs or opinions or mental structures that have actually been keeping you stuck and outside of your power and outside of your authenticity. And that's when we get to the layer of the gift, is when we bring intense awareness, self-awareness, and we keep our mind open enough to question what we believe. And that's required at all of the shadow levels, is to have that opening. Otherwise, we just stay stuck in a loop and we will suffer. Once we've spent some time in independence, then we can embrace interdependence, which is what we all are, always have been, always will be. It's the same thing at the acidic level. The acidic level is within the shadow as well. It's just that we can't see it. This idea of being interconnected, unity consciousness, it's never not the case. We are all one. We're not separate from the earth. We're not separate from one another. We have all come from the same source. But at the shadow level, we cannot see that truth. At the shadow level, we are very fixated on a small version of reality, and we completely miss all the realms that exist, all the possibilities that are around us all of the time. So I've spoken about codependence at that level, and I have been on a journey of, over the past several years, really bringing intense self-awareness to the ways that I've been codependent. And the gift of sensitivity is a lot about strength. It's a lot about being able to be the heretic, being willing to go against what the majority has to say. It's being able to step up against the status quo. And I like this quote here that I'm going to share that Richard Rudd says in the audio. It's literally our coming alive and our rejoining the human race, and it feels like a coming home. At the shadow level, we can have a lot of resentments and depression and numbness about the world because it's so misaligned to our true nature, to that acidic level, that idea of being interconnected. And so it leads to dis-ease, disharmony, incoherence, which ultimately leads to real disease in our body, our physical body, our mental bodies. So this is sensitivity is truly a gift of healing, and it knows how to heal itself because it knows what it needs. So now I get to my call to action. I have been sensing for some time that it's time for me to step away from specific social media platforms that I feel are really based off of codependence, and more being shown that the algorithms are not really supporting the voice, but are suppressing and are actually fueling division. They're fueling content that is divisive, and definitely not fueling content that is related to me and my values. So I've been holding on to this and just, one day I'll get to coming off of it, one day I'll get to coming off of it. And through the dreams that I've been having, the real life experiences that I've been having in engaging with this new community where I'm living now, and feeling the alignment and the harmony of the physical people here, and just sensing into this newness. And again, the gift of sensing, all the gift archetypes are about transforming something and being willing to let go of the old. And so there's been a part of me that's still been holding on to the old and how I've been showing up and connecting on these platforms. And as much as I enjoy it, I love sharing videos, I love sharing pieces of my life. I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm still going to be doing that here on YouTube, and who knows what else in the future. But I can feel this decision and just giving voice to it, a big energy shift. So it'll be interesting to watch this space and to just see the growth that occurs by closing down one thing and letting go of one thing, especially when it's not aligned. You know, it can't not change all areas of my life. And this is something that I teach others. And, you know, however subtle or however little we might think different relationships or different interactions or different choices we make that are not totally aligned to our values can be and make a great impact in all areas of our life. And let's go to the city of sacrifice. This is not a self-sacrifice. This is not a sacrifice, obviously, of giving our power away at the detriment to ourselves for the sake of others. This is the higher sacrifice that takes place internally. That is sacrificing the lower impulses for the higher one. So my lower impulses of, you know, wanting to stay connected to the familiar people that were on the platform that I was at, and, you know, what if I lose contact with them or whatever it is. Still the lower impulse is that, does that align to my values or not? That platform and what that platform's values are. And we also sacrifice our, as he mentions in the audio, we have to sacrifice our negativity and our negative projections of others as well. And so much of that, it takes place on the platforms that I have been engaging with. It's just projecting all over the place, this forgetting that we're all interconnected and, you know, blaming others. And at this level of sacrifice, you just step out of the game. You step out of the drama altogether of the duality, and you just understand that this is a big play, that all of our karma and all the archetypes in our DNA at the shadow level that have been playing on through our generations for so long are all meant to be burned up by our self-awareness. And that's not a journey that everybody is going to take in this lifetime. And as Richard Rudd speaks to these cities, the citic level, you know, that is the idea of the future human, that we will all be expressing these higher archetypes, which is really exciting to think about and contemplate. But it's not guaranteed in our lifetimes, and it's a journey. But dancing with the gift of our archetypes is a beautiful experience. And as he speaks about in the Venus sequence, you know, the gift is really the grail, to be able to experience our creativity and to have the gift of sensitivity and know, you know, when to speak and when to not speak, and what our true needs are, and how to heal ourselves and to really own our own power is a beautiful thing. So I'm excited for this next chapter. I'm excited to be sharing this here with you, the closing and completion of this dance with codependence in this way. Again, I've been on such a journey of transforming so many relationships, and obviously all relationships starts with ourselves. And how we do one thing is how we experience and do all things. So I look forward to sharing where this particular journey takes me. And I love to hear your thoughts on this theme. Do you sense any codependent habits, beliefs, relationships that you're still dancing with? What are your sensitivities? You know, I could keep going on and on with this particular topic. I have not felt such a call to action in my contemplations thus far other than I can see where I was sitting before buying this home. I didn't know that I was going to buy this home, but I was contemplating my core wound sphere / my vocation sphere, which is also beautiful and poetic. And yeah, if you're into the Gene Keys, I'd love to hear the synchronicities that you experience. I know there's so many synchronicities abound on the journey. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything else you'd like to share, and I really look forward to seeing you here in my next video.